The moment it was announced, I immediately knew it was the one. And yes, I'm talking about the 24-60 because, and I didn't think about the obvious, why didn't they do the 24-70, because they already have a 24-70. But I knew where they were going with this one, and we'll get there. The lens got me really excited, and even though before purchasing it, I was thinking about the Sigma 24-70, but I ended up with the Lumix, the 24-60, and in this video, I will tell you why. Okay, first of all, let's talk about functionality. So Lumix claims that it is dust splash and freeze resistant design. So it's weather sealed from here, as you can see. It has the metal framing, and I used it in rainy and snowy conditions and it did not fail on me at all. So you got over here a function button and an autofocus manual focus switch. Nothing else on the frame. And this function button can be mapped from the camera itself. You got the zoom ring over here, and then the focus ring over here. So the zoom ring is not really that smooth, but it doesn't fight against you as well. So when you're using it on the field, you're not gonna struggle. You're gonna have a normal, regular lens experience. Over here, the lens comes with a 77mm filter thread. And honestly, that's one of my favorite sizes, the 77 and the 82, because most of my filters are already either 77 or 82mm, so I don't have to buy a new filter. And as I said before, if you're gonna go for a new filter, if you're in the market for a new filter, make sure to go for a bigger size, as you can always step down for whatever lens that you have. Now let's talk about the size and weight of this beautiful lens. So here where the lens actually shines, and that was one of the reasons that I was tempted to get it. This lens is exceptionally light and can be considered small, but apart from the size, I want to express my feelings towards the weight of the lens. You're getting a medium zoom lens, an f2.8 constant aperture lens, an all-rounder lens, an everyday lens in a kinda light and small package. So that's really awesome, because when you think about it, for the videographers watching this video, this lens on a gimbal is a charm. I had the Sigma 24-70 on my Sony, and I already can tell the difference between this lens and the Sigma on a gimbal. Operating it the whole day, I can tell the difference, that size really matters. This, as a lighter package, can really make a difference, as this one weighs almost half than my Sigma. This one is 1.2 pounds, while the Sigma is 2.24 pounds. Literally half the weight in a way. So when you're using it, you can tell the difference. And if you're gonna ask me that, okay, Karim, it's just only 24-60, it doesn't reach to 70. I'm gonna tell you, I don't care. Because even though it has a maximum of 60mm, I can always do things to mitigate that problem. But I can't do anything about the weight, can I? Alright, picking up where we stopped. I used the 24-70 throughout my whole career. So thinking about getting a 24-60 was something that I felt that I was not really ready for. I always had a 24-70 ever since my DSLR days, and coming into mirrorless. Every system that I owned, every sensor that I owned, starting from crop sensor 17-50, something like that, to a full frame sensor 24-70, DSLR, and then a full frame in a mirrorless package, I always had a 24-70. So getting a 24-60, I didn't know whether I was gonna get used to it or not. But honestly, after using it for like quite some time now, those 10mm, I don't really miss them. And I'm being serious here, I'm being honest, I don't miss them at all. Because the way I think about it, if it was 10mm or whatever millimeter on the wider end, it would have been a problem. So imagine if it was like 30-60 instead of 24-60. Those 6mm, those could have been a little bit problematic. But those 10mm on the opposite end, it's not really causing any problem to me whatsoever. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how and what I do to actually solve those 10mm in case I needed the extra reach. So first of all, especially during weddings, during reception, when I use this lens, I always have this one on a camera and an 85 prime on another. So when you think about it, I do have the 24-60 and then an 85, so I got that range covered. If I needed the extra reach, I would grab my other camera. But also on that button over here, that function button on the lens, I mapped it for hybrid zoom. So let's say that I want extra reach rather than 60, I can turn on the hybrid zoom and I can always get more than that. So if I need that, I can turn on the hybrid zoom and get the extra reach that I'm looking for. Or I can always turn my camera into crop sensor and get the extra reach as well. So there are many ways to actually mitigate the 10mm difference from the 60 to a 70. So yeah, I'll take the lightweight than the 10mm every day. Now let's talk about the image quality. Even though this is a budget-friendly lens from the S lineup, not the S Pro from Lumix, but I was quite impressed. It's quite sharp, it produces great images, and the color rendition on that lens is really amazing as well. I photographed a couple photos over here just to test the IQ of the lens. So this photo was taken at 24mm, f2.8. And like any other lens in this range, it is super sharp right in the middle. Gets a little bit soft on the edges, but overall that's pretty good quality. I like the image, I like the sharpness. That was at f2.8, gets a little bit sharper. This one is at f4, still sharp and contrasty in the middle, center of the photo. A little bit of soft over here, but it gets better. Then I took another one at f5. At f5, it's still super sharp, maintaining the same sharpness in the middle, center of the photo, and it's way better at the edges. Granted, if I had taken these photos at a higher shutter speed, I do believe that the result will be different because it was a little bit windy, so that's on me. But overall, the quality of the lens is really good. I'm really pleased with the sharpness, with how it looks, and the color rendition as well. I did another test at 35mm over here at f2.8, still super sharp in the center, and it's really good at the edges as well. As you can see, it's super detailed and sharp at the edges. And I did another one, took another one at 60 just to test at the longer end. So at 60 f2.8, still sharp in the middle, a little bit soft on the edges, and at f4, 60mm, still sharp, really sharp in the middle, in the center of the photo, and way better at the edges. So I do believe that this lens shines at 35 across the board. Now I tried to see if there's any lens distortion, couldn't find any honestly. This picture was taken at 24 at 2.8. I don't believe that there's any noticeable barrel distortion, but it's up for you guys to just determine whether you like what you're seeing or not. So this was taken at f24. This was taken at 24mm, f2.8, and this one was taken at 60mm. So I can't really recognize if there's any pincushion distortion or barrel distortion in this case. I do believe that the result is really acceptable. It is really good, and if there's any distortion whatsoever, nothing that Lightroom can't fix. Now I'm sorry, because right now we're during winter, we don't get sun at all where I live, so I couldn't really test out like the chromatic aberration, but I have to say that it's super minimal. It's not really bad at all. Like this was taken at f2.8. I'm trying to put my subject, or the tree here, the object behind where the light source comes from behind. Couldn't find any chromatic aberration, but yet again, it's not really a conclusive test. I could do more tests later, but overall, and even during my experience with the lens, shooting in real life scenarios, the chromatic aberration is really minimal, and I can't really say that this lens suffer from horrible chromatic aberration, for example. Now, if we're gonna talk about the bokeh of this lens, it's really smooth, really buttery in a way, doesn't have any weird artifacts. As you can see over here, like I can't find any cat eye, bokeh. I like what I'm seeing, honestly. So again, it's up to you to determine whether you like this look or not. I was trying to shoot my monopod over here at f2.8 at 60mm, and the distance between me and the monopod was not really big. So I was trying to get as much blurry background or blown out background as possible. This is how the bokeh looks. For me, it looks super smooth. It's not rough, doesn't have any weird artifacts, and overall, the image looks pleasing to the eyes. Now let's talk about the autofocus. So this lens from Lumix, it's equipped with the Lumix dual phase linear motor. That's the latest from Lumix. It's super fast, it's super sticky. I had no problems whatsoever, whether in photo mode or video mode. Granted, I'm using it with the S12 and the S12E, and those are like the latest from Lumix. And it doesn't matter whether I'm shooting in a low light situation or just normal, it performs the same. I had no problems whatsoever shooting in, for example, reception during weddings when the lighting conditions are not really great. Overall, super responsive, super sticky, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Over here, I tried to do that stupid autofocus test just to make sure that you guys see that the camera and the lens tracks me all the way. And as you can see here, it did a really great job. So I've never had any problem using that lens during weddings, during the send-off ceremonies, all kinds of work that I do. It was always on point, super sticky, super fast. And right here you can see that, sticks to my face. Whether on the edges of the frame, in the middle, center, wherever I go, sticks to my face, super fast, super silent, and yeah, super great autofocus, honestly. And you can always set the focus ring over here from your camera, either linear or non-linear focus. Now this lens does not offer any stabilization in it, but if you're using one of the newer bodies, the S12, the S12E, the S12R, there's that new feature, that magic feature that they added, and it's the cropless mode. So you got your optical stabilization working, right? If you open up the electronic stabilization menu, you're gonna find a new mode called cropless mode. So that cropless mode only works with the native Lumix lenses. So if you have that lens over here, you can actually turn on the cropless mode. I don't know how it works. For some reason, it offers an extra layer of electronic stabilization without actually cropping the frame. So you got your standard, your high, right? But then you got the cropless mode. It adds another layer of stabilization on your optical without doing any cropping whatsoever. So it's amazing. Every time I have this lens on, I have the cropless mode on as well. Now, would I recommend this lens? The decision is always yours. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I am merely just, telling you my experience with the lens. I really love it. I really like it. For a long 24/7 user, I don't miss the 10mm at all. I'm super comfortable with the lens, super comfortable with the weight. The image quality is amazing. I have no complaints whatsoever. The focus is really fast. And for a lens, for an everyday lens that might live on your camera more than any other lens, for that price, for me, it was a no-brainer. For real, it was a no-brainer. So, would I recommend this lens? I think I would. I think I would. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. Take from the video what makes sense to you, and based on that, make up your own decision. And yeah, if you have any question about this lens, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'll answer you based on whatever I know about the lens. And yeah, until then, I'll see you in the next one.